Zaporizhzhia did not fall overnight. It collapsed under pressure. This region was never just a city, never just a front line. Zaporizhzhia is a strategic hinge, a gateway between southern Ukraine and the heart of the country, a node that connects logistics, energy, and movement. For months it stood under constant strain. Artillery, drones, precision strikes, relentless pressure. What happened here is not just a battlefield shift. It is a signal of how Russia applies modern warfare. Slow, methodical, overwhelming, not chaos, control. The fall of Zaporizhzhia is being framed by Moscow as proof of strength, not symbolic strength, operational strength. This is not only about territory, it is about dominance, endurance, and the ability to reshape the battlefield. What unfolded in Zaporizhzhia reveals far more than a single military outcome. It reveals how this war is being fought, and what comes next. Zaporizhzhia is not just a city, it is a strategic anchor. Geographically, it sits at the crossroads of southern and central Ukraine. It controls movement, supply routes, operational depth. Rail lines pass through this region. Road networks converge here. Energy infrastructure is concentrated around it. For military planners, Zaporizhzhia is leverage. Whoever controls it shapes the southern theater. From Russia's perspective, the region offers three advantages. First, logistics. Control of Zaporizhzhia stabilizes supply lines linking southern positions. It reduces reliance on vulnerable routes. It shortens operational distance. Second, defense. Holding Zaporizhzhia creates a buffer, a shield against counteroffensives, a fortified layer protecting deeper rear areas. Third, pressure. From this position, force can be projected northward, toward central Ukraine, toward key industrial and administrative zones. This is why pressure on Zaporizhzhia was constant, not sudden, not impulsive, deliberate. The objective was not speed, it was exhaustion, attrition, disruption, isolation. Over time, the battlefield tilted, not through a single breakthrough, but through sustained control. What unfolded in Zaporizhzhia was not a rush. It was a process. Pressure came first, sustained, layered. Artillery set the tempo, regular, predictable in rhythm, unpredictable in impact. Drones extended the battlefield, reconnaissance, target correction, persistent surveillance. Strikes followed patterns, logistics nodes, command links, transit routes, not random targets. Selected ones. The objective was not immediate collapse, it was degradation. Communications were strained, movement was restricted, resupply became risky. Over time, defensive depth thinned, positions that once held became harder to rotate, units stayed longer, fatigue accumulated, urban and semi-urban terrain amplified the effect. Short distances, limited cover, constant exposure. The campaign relied on continuity, no pauses long enough to recover, no gaps wide enough to exploit. Pressure replaced momentum, and momentum replaced speed. This is how control was applied, gradually, systematically. By the time the situation shifted decisively, the outcome was already shaped, not by a single strike, but by accumulated pressure. The fall of Zaporizhzhia carries weight beyond the battlefield. Militarily, it reshapes the map. Control of the region strengthens Russia's southern posture. Lines are shortened. Rear areas become more secure. A new operational depth is created. This changes calculations. Defensive planning shifts. Force allocation adjusts. Pressure can now be redistributed to other sectors. Zaporizhzhia becomes a stabilizing node, not just for holding ground, but for sustaining operations. Geopolitically, the signal is deliberate. Moscow presents the outcome as proof of endurance, of capacity, of strategic patience. The message is not about speed, it is about sustainability. Russia frames the result as evidence that it can maintain prolonged pressure, absorb costs, and still advance incrementally. For Ukraine, the implications are complex. Resources must be rebalanced, defensive priorities reassessed. External support becomes even more critical. For NATO and Western governments, the development reinforces an uncomfortable reality. The conflict is not static, and outcomes are not frozen. Territorial control on the ground continues to evolve, regardless of diplomatic positions. Sanctions remain. Recognition is withheld. But facts on the battlefield continue to shape the strategic environment. Zaporizhzhia illustrates a broader pattern. This war is increasingly defined by attrition, by control of infrastructure, by endurance over time. Not dramatic breakthroughs, but steady pressure. And in modern warfare, that pressure often decides the outcome. Zaporizhzhia is not an endpoint, it is a platform. Militarily, control creates options, not immediate offensives. But sustained leverage, logistics become more predictable, defense lines more coherent, operational tempo more controllable. This reduces uncertainty. And in war, reduced uncertainty is power. The focus now shifts from seizure to consolidation, holding ground, securing infrastructure, stabilizing rear areas. Over time, this changes the rhythm of the conflict. Fewer sudden movements, more managed pressure, longer timelines. Geopolitically, the implications unfold slowly. Diplomatic positions remain fixed. Recognition is contested. Sanctions persist. But strategy is not decided by statements alone. It is shaped by endurance, by who can sustain operations, by who can adapt, by who can maintain control under pressure. Zaporizhzhia becomes part of that equation, not as a headline, but as a structural shift. This is how modern wars evolve, not through dramatic moments, but through accumulated outcomes. And Zaporizhzhia is one of them. Zaporizhzhia is now part of a larger picture, not just a military outcome, but a reminder of how modern wars are fought, slowly, systematically, with lasting consequences. Behind every shift on the map, there are costs, cities changed, lives disrupted, futures uncertain. This channel does not celebrate war. We do not glorify destruction. We do not take joy in conflict. Our purpose is understanding, to examine how events unfold, to analyze decisions and consequences, to provide context beyond headlines. Because informed understanding matters, and responsible discussion matters even more. If you value calm analysis and structured insight, stay with this channel. Follow, subscribe, stay informed. We invite you to share your thoughts, your ideas, your perspectives, your questions, but always with respect. Different views are welcome. Hate is not. Violence is not. Discussion should build understanding, not deepen division. War leaves no real winners, only lessons. And those lessons deserve to be examined carefully. Thank you for watching.